People often assume that discovering foreign terms for feelings unlocks hidden parts of the human psyche. You might think that learning a word from a distant language grants you access to emotions you previously lacked. We tend to view these linguistic imports as keys to personal growth or deeper self-awareness. However, consider the possibility that this process does not actually increase your internal capacity at all. Perhaps we are not gaining new territory, but instead trading one set of social borders for another. This perspective challenges the common belief that more words lead to a richer internal life. Learning untranslatable vocabulary is like navigating a map with pre-drawn borders, because the lines determine which paths you are allowed to travel. Each term works like a boundary marker that defines the shape of a permissible experience within that specific society. When you adopt these foreign labels, you do not create new space for your feelings. You merely accept the topographical limits set by the culture that invented the word. These terms highlight existing patterns of social validation instead of uncovering raw, universal human states. By using these labels, you participate in a system that decides which emotional expressions have value. This mechanism keeps your internal focus within the parameters designed by historical and social consensus. You are not expanding your reach, instead shifting your attention toward the approved landmarks of another group. Imagine a person who feels a deep sense of melancholy while watching a sunset. They might search for a term like the Portuguese word saudade to describe this state. They feel that by naming the sensation, they have finally understood their own heart. They start using this word in conversation, believing it gives them a unique perspective on their life. Yet this person is simply borrowing a frame from a culture that has long prioritized this specific type of longing. They feel validated because they found a label that matches a social norm elsewhere. If they had chosen a different language, they might have picked a term that emphasizes detachment or joy instead. Their experience did not change, but their interpretation shifted to fit the available vocabulary. They are now tracking their inner life using the coordinates provided by someone else. The feeling remains the same, but the way they categorize it has been constrained by the cultural origin of the term. My take on this is that we often mistake vocabulary acquisition for psychological evolution. We feel an urge to find the perfect name for our discomfort, hoping it will grant us mastery over our inner states. It seems liberating to name a complex feeling, yet we ignore how these labels work like cultural gatekeepers. By adopting a foreign word, we implicitly agree to view our emotions through the lens of the people who created that term. We are not becoming more nuanced. We are becoming more compliant with the traditions of those cultures. This is not about personal depth, but about aligning our internal state with a collective script. I find it important to recognize that no word can contain the entirety of a human experience. We should be cautious when we assume that a new term offers us a deeper truth about ourselves. Instead of chasing these exotic labels, we might consider why we feel the need to seek permission for our emotions from outside sources. How does our reliance on these specific labels dictate the way we permit ourselves to process our own internal reality? We often look outward to define what is happening inside. We hope that a precise term will clarify our confusion or validate our pain. But language is a filter, not a mirror. It selects what we are allowed to see while obscuring everything else. Perhaps the next time you feel a complex emotion, you should try to sit with it without reaching for a label. What happens when you stop searching for a name and simply experience the state as